We got one of the ACA members, the guy who produces our newsletter, and board member and good friend Joe Zemecki. How you doing?
Howdy. Doing great. Don, Tracy, and Matt.
And I see what topic you're going to bring up, and I'm all prepared, man. I got a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, good.
So go ahead.
You guys have this TV show. This is a wonderful show and a great outlet. Anyway, I just had one little point here. Often the religious will claim that pregnancy is an act of their God, creation, yet more fertilized eggs never end in birth. Many never attach to the uterus wall, and many are miscarriages, so it seems that their God is pro-abortion. What do y'all think about that? And I'll listen off the air.
Well, I actually have statistics on that, on God's abortions.
Yeah.
Let's see, 2/3 of, what does it say? Let's see. Annual pregnancy results for 6 million births. Or, there's 6 million births per year. And of the conceptions, they're estimating 2/3 result in a live birth, 1/5 results in an abortion, and just approximately a little bit less than that results in a miscarriage. Now, I'm thinking that this is pregnancies that are recognized pregnancies. I understand what you're saying about miscarriages that happen before anybody even knows they're pregnant, which I'm sure
I have a
higher.
statistic here that 50% of naturally conceived embryos don't implant.
There you go. Yeah.
So Joe's question is, if God is the essence of good and God does this, then maybe abortion's good, or maybe, right? So good old theology.
To me, it's another one of those issues where they're potentially drawing a line in the wrong place. And if they want to say that life begins at conception, then you have this situation where 50% of eggs in which conception occurs never attach in uterus and are just evacuated.
Right.
And all of that takes place from the religion standpoint within the purview of their God's orders. It was his idea to have this system. It was his idea for this egg and sperm to meet, and it was his idea for nothing to come of it, for it just to end up going to waste completely. So if that's the case for 50% of them, then you've got those out of those that implant where spontaneous miscarriages occur.
Right.
Now that's also, according to the religionists generally, God's will. So you have all of these things, but you're drawing lines in different places because
well, they used to have the idea of the quickening, which is when the mother feels the baby in her uterus. That's when life started. There used to be that definition, right? So if you're changing definitions, it basically means you have no clue.
Yeah.
Right? Either they don't know before, they don't know after, they don't know at all.
Is the quickening like morning sickness?
No.
I think it's the movement of the fetus.
It's later than that.
So I have a whole bunch of theological things. Let me throw them out real quick, just because we're running a little short on time. Let's see, aborted fetuses. Let's see, all babies as they come out of the womb are atheists. They don't believe in God. So you've got these little heathens coming out, right? So if a baby's aborted, does it go to heaven? Does it? If the baby goes to hell, then we have God torturing little babies. Isn't that a wonderful little idea? Just think about that.
But you've got this position where the Bible doesn't actually say anything about abortion, so you have people with these exegetic interpretations saying, Jeremiah 1:5 says, I knew you before you were born, and therefore it happens at conception. No, actually, if you read Jeremiah 1:5 and think about it for a second, this is God talking to Jeremiah supposedly, and he's saying, I knew you before you were conceived. So he's talking about this soul, right? Concept of a soul which existed prior to conception, according to it. And granted, of course, I reject it all as nonsense anyway, but the point is that and they use these other bits of the baby jumping in the womb when the mother hears joyous news, but what baby doesn't jump around in the womb? If he didn't, I'd be worried. It'd be time to see the doctor there. And there's nothing in there, and yet they have, this becomes such a core central issue that they are dead set, absolutely certain that this is an edict from God, that this cannot happen, to the point where all other issues become secondary. Everything is less important than this. Even gay rights is less important than this. Mm-hmm. This is the core thing for so many people when it comes to voting and making decisions about, political affiliation, etc. Within general Christendom, you're not going to hell just because you had an abortion. If you are a born-again, believing Christian, whatever, that's not an unforgivable sin at all. You could,
well, according to the Bible, it's just a little fine, right?
It's just another sin, and yet it becomes this divisive.
Oh, yeah.